Hello, Global. Essentially, so yesterday I did a video on sort of the first steps of this mode. I played for about 15 minutes, and then I ended it there, sort of first impressions, how things are. After about 10 hours, 7 hours or so, I can't remember exactly, I finished the mode. In terms of like getting all of the map unlocked and all the towers and so on. So what I wanted to do here is essentially do a video sort of talking about tips and tricks and things that I noticed that may benefit you when you're actually doing this. Of course, beta players get these modes ahead of time, and then a few days later, at the most, people on global receive the mode as well. So, what I wanted to do is essentially talk about my experience, my thoughts on the mode, how easy it is to get the rewards, so on, how free to play friendly it is, and yada yada yada. So, um, essentially, what I'm going to do is just talk about it and let you know. So, um, first things first. The rankings for this game mode are based off of how much of this dust you've made, this magical dust, the blue stuff essentially. How much you make of that is what gets you up in ranks. So basically, as you progress through the map, I don't know why I press escape. As you progress through the map, you basically unlock these things, and these things are essentially your towers. To give you an example, if you think of a game like Cookie Clicker, or you think of a game like Adventure Capitalist, I think it's called, where you essentially start off with one thing that makes you money or cookies or whatever currency that game uses, and then you proceed to get the next one using that one, and the next one you get gives you more, and the other one after that gives you more, and essentially they charge up at a quicker rate. So if you look here, you can see, for example, some of these are moving considerably faster, you see? So compare it to this one. This one's sort of going faster and faster than the other one before, and it just gets quicker. Look at this one here. So when you get to the end, these are even faster and produce much more. So this one within a couple circles is already going up by a million each time, whilst something like back here, you know, yeah, it's just the production increases every time. So one thing I wanted to talk about this is you want to push as fast as you can. So essentially, when this mode unlocks, there are different teams. I will let you know there are different teams, and therefore, if you're late to this, it's okay because you may be put into a different team. I, on the other hand, was late by probably 5 hours, and I still came into the team that I'm in now, even though I was 5 hours after everybody else. So I was at a massive disadvantage. People already on the billions and billions of points when I started, trillions I think soon after, probably like 30 minutes after I came in. So basically you can be late to this mode, but if you're going to be late, there's a possibility you may join on the back end of a group rather than a brand new one. So I know some people that joined probably about 10 p.m. I joined at 5 p.m. And those at the 10 p.m. mark got a brand new team, which right now I would be first in by a mile. But I'm currently sixth on mine, so it's something to keep in mind. Joining times, if it comes out at whatever time, um, let's say 12 o'clock or reset, then essentially you want to just come on as fast as you can. Essentially, that's the only way to really be safe and not to join a team that's bad. But yeah, so you push as far as possible, and essentially you get a lot of copies of legendaries from Legion to use in this mode, and this mode is completely in itself. So you essentially have this treasure hunt. Which is gonna bring you back to Thanksgiving, and I said that in the previous video. So essentially, as you do these, the same strategies apply that applied in the Thanksgiving event. You want to basically play around using this power up. So as you sort of press these, try keep full lines up and down, as well as nine in a big circle, because some of the power ups are the big circle ones. So the same strategies I talked about before, sort of starting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that sort of thing, and sort of moving like this and leaving like the line here open and the line here open for any up or sideways, and leaving this whole square open for any big power ups. But I did notice that from time to time it would essentially give me a random power up on a click. So, but I couldn't. There's no way to predict it when it happens, as far as I can tell. So sometimes you may just get one given to you that just pops without letting you know. Obviously, that's all luck based, which I don't like. I wish I knew exactly when it's coming, but it doesn't tell me. This one I can manually click and apply. The one before I really couldn't. So that's one thing to know, is that's where you get your heroes and you get your branches, which actually function as the blessing temple essentially in this. Each unit will have to be powered up on their own. However, the statue here is what gives you points, right? So you get a bonus of points as you sort of progress. So as you see here, I put my units in here, and each one of them is giving me a times sort of amount, and that's the current bonus. And it says here, um, they give extra production rate. So this is where this works. It's not your blessing temple levels. It's essentially where you power up. And the first thing I want to talk about is the sort of the unworth. It's I don't believe it's worth it to power up units to 16 star. What I mean by that is going from the 11 here, as you see on the Rennie, going to, for example, the 16 star here on your Tell. Um, Basically, you're going to be losing 8 food by doing that for such a small gain when you reach towards the back end. So I say when you're playing this, watch out to not go too far, because this bonus here, looking at 682, it's not the normal amount. As you see here, this is the normal amount. It's only like 40. So I wouldn't want to do it for 40 if I can get a whole unit up to a point where they're giving me, potentially another 11 star at the end of it, because an 11 star will give you see the 558, which is a lot more than the bonuses from those. So don't power up 16 stars. I don't think it's worth it. The power up sort of from it is not going to be able to get you to the next stage. It's only a couple percentage points. I kind of just not held back, but I did it, but then I realized after that it's basically not worth it, because the way this mode functions is when you clear this whole map of all the enemies and capture all of the turrets, there's nothing left to do on the map. Right, so you can't fight anything else or gain any more shovels, apart from when the daily reset happens, you get some shovels, which will happen obviously when today ends for me. Then I can go ahead and open up a few more of the sort of treasure hunt aspect, and then that's it. And then I'm basically stuck on whatever I find. So if I get some extra units, fair, I can power some units up. If I find, some legendary copies, if not, whatever, power up the blessing temple. But you're basically stuck on the point creation, because once you have all the towers, you're making them as much as you can. And now the only thing left for you to do is essentially level up these heroes, right? So you're sort of waiting for this, you're harvesting it, and then you're going ahead and putting it into a unit. So, every so often, as you see, like the actual amount required is really high. So I've reached a point where another tower will probably get me to the 260s rather quickly, but I'm basically stuck. And the only real way to progress beyond that amount is basically to pick these packs up, but these are not necessary, right? So those are not necessary for you. You can do this free to play. That's for certain. So essentially, if you look down here, these are the rewards. So I'll do this in some detail. So you're going to it's going to seem a bit daunting how much you need to get when you get to 50,000 points, and then you need to get 100 million, and then you're looking at trillions and whatever. You just keeps on going. But essentially, it's quite easy. I think within the first day, majority of people that push the mode and try their best to get as far as possible will be able to do it in one day. If you're free to play and casual, you're going to do it within the 3 days. That's for certain. So the final sort of reward is basically any nonetheless choice, which is very nice if you're trying to aim for some units. Obviously, you get a lot of seeds, you get some sort of general food, you get books, legendary fragments. It's not bad at all. I think it's a really good set of rewards. And then you if for 3 days, if this thing keeps coming back, I'll be very, 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 very glad, right? I'd be ecstatic if this mode keeps coming back with different factions. And that's one thing I wanted to sort of talk about, is I kind of wish that this mode was permanent and refreshed every X amount of time, and then we could go ahead and do this whole mode all over again with its own ranking system, with sort of different factions. You can even use LS units in this. Light and shadow units could be up another whole one of this. There'll be 10 units, of course, as well as obviously no impact on your actual game, so it'd be great. I actually made a list on my left, and I've not really been keeping to it. So So a couple things I'm going to talk about is resets are free. So if you go ahead and invest into one unit and it's bad, you can always reset it for free. It's going to reset giving you epic units, but that's obviously just going to be your food. So what I'm going to say is initially when you start, you're going to get all legendaries. It's all legendaries. And any fragment you open up is going to be legendary. So you're going to have all legendaries. However, if you reset anybody, you're obviously going to get your epics. We can still use as your food. So power up whoever you get. It's fine. You don't have to wait for the best unit because you're gonna get more than enough copies of them. And in terms of units that are good, I will say Eric as your front line is going to be your best choice. The only other option is Isla, and she's just not as good as Eric. Tell is a very strong ranger, so I would power him up. Rennie is not a bad unit to have at all. You're gonna want a Sota to protect your backline because unless you build an island to sort of bounce away assassins, you're gonna want a Sota. He's the only option. And then sort of what you put in between. Initially, I used Waga to essentially provide a boost to my Tell, who was my first 11, and she basically just powered him up. And um, then I put in Gisela over her to basically just provide some CC. So yeah, that was the reason, and also for some odd reason, I could only skip the battle in some cases when Gisela was in and she wasn't. So I don't know what it is. I think it's your top 5 units is what it counts for. But yeah, so that's basically one thing. Good sort of units to use. Osh, Tell, Eric, Rennie, Sota, Waga, all good. Isla I wouldn't really use, but those are the units that you want to aim for. Tell as a main carry works very well, and obviously you can power up 2 of the same unit if you want to, so you can have yourself 2 Tells with a Sota, an Eric, and like a Waga or something, or a Gisela to provide some support with either CC or energy. So yeah, that's my sort of unit overview. Um, and I'm trying to keep a look on my thing, but yeah, the top rewards actually in this leaderboard, they're not going to be for the free-to-play people. Up to a certain extent, of course, because there's people on here that are free-to-play or not spending in during this event, and they are looking at the 5 Cs as their reward. However, if if you push a far away, you will get there. You will go ahead and actually receive these high rewards, but keeping these ranks is going to be difficult against anybody that's whaling. As you see here, 13,000 trillion whatever is not done through free to play. That's basically the point, is that these boosts that you buy in the shop are going to be the ones that get you past that stage and onto sort of competing for the top ranks. So aim for the rewards at the bottom. Obviously, whatever you get in the leaderboard, great. Being active on this mode and always pulling your resources out essentially as soon as you can and putting them into your units is going to be the late game here. Obviously, the further you go, as you see, I pull out minutes worth of resource and it doesn't give you anything level wise, and that's just how it's going to be. A couple levels here and there. So sort of where you put yourself at the end is going to be the way. And I think when it comes to the pulling out of the resources, that's what gives you points. So I'll also say that when you're playing this mode, go ahead and make sure that last second of the event you pull this out if you haven't for a while. So keep a sort of timer on it, because once you do, you will jump up in ranks. Because when you go to sleep for 8 hours, you're going to end up being a completely different rank. Yesterday I was third for a while. And basically, towards the back end of me staying online, I fell all the way down to like fifth because people woke up in different parts of the world and started basically pushing. So that pushed me out of ranks. So that is something really important to keep in mind. And the other thing I wanted to say about this mode is really good for testing units, right? So um, if you are looking to see if you like Waga, for example, with your Tell that you have as your main ranger, you can power her up really easily. You're going to get so many fragments. It's ridiculous. Like, they give you it like crazy. I think each time you do one of the treasure hunts, you get, I think, 600 legendary fragments to spend within this mode. But keep in mind that these units and anything you get in is for this mode only. So it's something that's important to know, that these aren't not going to be for you, so you're not disappointed when you get an 11-star Tell and then you find out, oh, actually I can't use it wherever I want to use it. So that's important. But as so far, it's a very enjoyable mode. I think it gives you a good 8 hours of just consistently logging on and doing stuff. At least 4 of which, probably about 2 hours solidly, just consistently running around. doing stuff. So hopefully, it may not appeal to the most casual players who don't have the time to dedicate. However, as the mode is, it's entertaining, it's fun. I really enjoyed it. So hopefully Global enjoys it too, and if it's good reception from it, hopefully it comes back with different factions, and that's basically the main thing. And I heard from some people that have got rather large points, that they basically bought some of the more lucrative shovel purchases and hourglass ones, like the one down here, for 999, which basically gives you 10 minutes at 100 times your stuff. So this stuff is what gets you unstuck, and obviously you have these to do as well for adverts, so that's worth it as well. Obviously you watch the ads. Funny enough, I think 9 out of 10 of them were VLE ads, so they were showing their own game to me to play. So, I may try it. Anyway, so I don't want to get it too rambly. I basically said what I wanted to say, sort of what it is. It's basically capitalist, or the cookie clicker game, or any other game which you sort of, as soon as you get the next one, you power up a whole lot more, and then you sort of just stack these towers until you complete the map. And once you complete the map, whatever points you get is what gives you the ranking at the end. It will also get you to the end here easily. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully, you had a good time, and you will have a good time with the mode when it does drop. Again, I'm not sure exactly on the day. It's going to be within the next probably 24 hours. Is going to be here. If at the very worst, it'll be 48 hours, because it's usually within 3 days of beta release, that they will then put it onto global. So keep that in mind. It may even be out now. Who knows? I don't have a global account that I jump on to know all the bits that are out. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it here. I hope you enjoyed the video, and good luck.